Hey guys, what's up? This is going to be a video hopefully very helpful to those of you who have wanted to start drumming but haven't, either because drums cost too much money or because they take up too much space, or even potentially because drums are too loud. I'm going to show you my take on a cheap, small, and quiet-ish kit. It's one perspective on it, but I think it's a very solid way to go. Couple things to know up front is there's not really a lot to say regarding specific pieces here with what we're doing. Just things to know up front. You can spend as much or as little money on this as you want. And if you do a lot of bargain hunting and you find things cheap, then power to you, that's awesome. On the other side, you could spend a little bit more money and it's totally fine. It's not going to be a loss to you because the way we're doing this is such a way that you can take the pieces from this kit and move it on to your next one as you advance. It's not going to be one of those things like where you get a beginner's drum set for maybe roughly the same amount of money and all you've got is these cheap drum shells and hardly any hardware. This will hopefully be a great springboard. It'll be solid and it's perfect for those who just really want to get started and all they need is something to play. It can be done for about $200 ideally, and it's all kind of brought together by one specific item that kind of stands out and helps to make it much cheaper and much more space efficient. I'll go ahead and list the items for you and then we can move on from there. Alright, so in no particular order, here's everything you're going to need to make this set happen. First of all, you're going to need a snare drum stand, a hi-hat stand, a drum throne, a bass drum pedal. This kit is going to, again, cater a little bit to a slightly lower volume, so you want to choose a snare that is not the loudest thing you can find. This one's 13 inches in diameter. You could go even smaller to maybe a 12 if you felt like it. And then very importantly, don't ignore the depth. There are some smaller snares, smaller in diameter, that are still pretty beefy depth-wise, but we don't want that if possible. This is probably about 3 to 3.5 inches, you can see with my hand compared to it. This is really a great size and works plenty fine for me, and I happen to use it because it's the smallest snare in my collection. Next thing you're going to need is a pair of hi-hats. You could also go single cymbal on a cymbal stand. I would say I like this better because it's a little bit more flexible. You can play them tightly to get a short sound if you want. You can open them up and play very loose and washy. I feel like this gives you a lot more options as far as cymbals go. So I would say go hi-hats if you can. Now this is that big secret item that I was talking about. This is what makes it cheap, this is what makes it small, and this is what makes it quieter. I like using a Samsonite, if you can see that. This one I got at a garage sale for $5, so plenty cheap, but sometimes they go for, 30 at a thrift store. Important notes, you want it to be plastic, big, as empty on the inside as possible, not a lot of dividers or anything like that, but really the best thing you can do, regardless of what it looks like, is to just hold it up and give it a listen. This is optional, but I have here this plate. I'm not great with tools. I didn't put this on, but what I did was I had a handyman install some bars underneath here on each side. They're inside of the suitcase, and you can follow these black screws are the lines that these bars are following. So they're on the inside creating sturdiness. And then this plate was custom construction, welded, and that is attached to the bars as you can see here. So it's very sturdy, and then it's got this lip on there that you use to attach the bass drum pedal to it. That's something you can go without. I went without it for a long time. It's just nice if you have it. Lastly, and something that I forgot to mention, would be your striking tools. You could use a pair of regular sticks, you could use a pair of multi-rods, even brushes work out alright. Anything's good, it's just whatever gets you on the kit and playing. I think if you can learn your control, sticks are a great option. Alright, now we're going to get to setting it up, so I will time lapse through that and then we'll get to playing it. Alright, so we're all set up here. Time to play.